welcome to Moles Haunted with me, Stuart Torrival. This week we're in Leicester and we're at Leicester Guilds Hall.
And I think it's taken a lot of us by surprise. It's absolutely fantastic.
To be honest, it's a really beautiful building. It's a really, really nice building. It's very old.
I love these buildings where all the sort of what are supposed to be straight lines have all curved and gone wonky over time.
It's quite cold in places, but other than that, I'm not bothered by the place at all. It's a fascinating place.
It dates back from the 1390s and is chock full of history.
There's some cracking stories and sightings that people have been talking about.
I know there are probably 5 different spirits here.
The one that I'm most interested in is the White Lady who's connected to the library. Now, apparently she moves furniture, makes all kinds of noises, but there are theories to suggest that it could actually be a monk in a white robe.
There was an Augustinian friary not far from here, and with religious clerics here, then there could well have been one. Of course, the amazing thing is the Augustinians wore white habits.
If you think about the stories connected to a big Bible, which is also in the library, sometimes when it's closed at night, the following morning it's open again, and usually on the page it was on before it was closed. That ties in pretty well with the thoughts of it being a monk in a white robe.
It's just such a beautiful, beautiful place in the middle of this sort of fairly major city.
It isn't eerie. It's just fascinating. It's more fascinating than frightening. I've got a feeling it's going to be scary later on when it's dark and everything's quiet. The main problem we have here is that we're next to, like a building site. So that's next door to us. So when we've been doing the interviews and the initial interviews that we've just started, there's been noises and there's been a lot of noise and so on, and so that just it upsets things.
It's been a bit of a struggle today, in all honesty. This location, it's kind of gotten on my nerves for a simple reason, is it's been very, very difficult for us to work and get things done in one hit.
Really, really loud and noisy.
Hopefully tonight things will quieten down. I'm hoping so. But the problem is, like I said before, we're right in the middle of the centre of Leicester, and it's very loud, very noisy. There's people walking up and down the side streets, there's cars, there's buses, there's trucks. There's a mixture of noises and things going on, like a vehicle's just gone by now. And I think if that happens all night long, I don't think we're going to do very well.
Possibility of something happening is quite good because lots and lots of people have seen and heard things here quite recently as well.
I'm just looking forward to seeing this sort of stuff for myself now. Will I not see it? Well, time will tell.
We've been around it. It's very old, very atmospheric. There's a lot of ghost stories. Apparently, there's supposed to be 5 ghosts, and I'd like at least one of them to show themselves to us tonight.
I'm hoping tonight will be good.
It doesn't feel spooky, but then it never does at this time of day. But then at the same time, it's got all the things going for it that would provide good activity.
At the moment, I don't feel that scared. Probably because I've not been anywhere on my own. But we'll see about that.
So far, I'm not spooked.
I hope that, we have a really good night. I hope that things happen. I'm quite excited about tonight. Everybody's up, everybody's happy. So, yeah, I'm not too tired. I've had a bit of a rest from the last shoot, so I'm quite excited about tonight. Hopefully something's going to happen, but not too scary.
just had a walk round, and I have to say the place is quite oppressive. It feels very dark. I know it's daytime we had the walk round, but it feels oppressive, it feels heavy, it makes me actually want to be physically sick almost. And it's given me a real pain right here in the centre of my forehead, which is probably where my third eye is working to see exactly what's going on.
It was absolutely fascinating because David was coming up with a lot of information, new information, and it seemed to actually fit with some of the sightings that have been seen here. One in particular was a lady, I think called Mary, and she had a child.
She may have been pregnant as well. I don't know if there's a baby here as well. And there's a great shame about her. She feels very shameful. Again, there's the impression that she's wandering probably around the whole building. And she's crying. I'm sorry for being a bit gruesome, but it's almost like she has a baby in her arms that is disfigured. It's like an aborted baby in a way, and she's wandering around, she's lamenting, she's crying, she's howling, and she's actually holding it out to me. It's quite horrible in a sense, but it's so sad, it's heartbreakingly sad.
I don't know how you cope with it as a medium, how you deal with all these feelings and emotions.
I guess you have to learn to control your energy, and you have to learn to work with your energy. Sometimes when you get very upset, like the lady with the baby, you have to cut off. You have to let it go, because if you don't, you're gonna, you're gonna become almost like it was part of your family.
Yeah.
One of the most fascinating things was we were in one of the rooms, and everybody, Yvette and myself, we heard footsteps.
And they were so loud that we actually thought that somebody was walking on a wooden floor in the courtroom down below.
What did you see?
Just by that door, a light just went across by that door. That bottom picture, it shone and reflected in that picture. I think it was, again, female in white. And it was like a white light went whoosh. She may have gone through that door. I don't know where that goes to. She may have gone through that door.
Who's that?
They were so profound. We initially didn't take any notice because we thought, well, it's obviously somebody walking. It was too obvious. Because the footsteps were very, very firm. And I assumed it was someone else in the building or whatever.
When we looked, there was no one there.
Nobody at all. So we checked to make sure definitely nobody had been in that room.
Everybody was accounted for. The staff here, they didn't know anything about it. No one had walked in there.
And the funny thing was, everybody thought it was us making the noise, and we were thinking it was them making the noise. And clearly, it was something completely different.
I think we've actually caught something quite strange and maybe paranormal on the cameras. So that's really, I'm really, really excited.
The fact that that's one of the phenomena that's heard here, it's making it quite exciting because we're all sort of looking forward to it. And it's only 4 o'clock. And things seem to happen.
So far, it's not even dark yet, and already this is proving to be a really fascinating location, so I cannot wait for tonight.
Part of our job is to help heal as well, is to help those that want to move. I just saw something over there.
What did you see?
Just by that door, a light just went across by that door. That bottom picture, it shone and reflected in that picture. I think it was, again, female in white. And it was like a white light went whoosh. She may have gone through that door. I don't know where that goes to. I shouldn't have gone through that door.
Who's that? Does sound like. Did that sound like there was somebody just walking across there then?
Who's walking across there?
Was.
No, no one could have just walked across there because that's stone.
But unless they walked across here.
No, they
It
wouldn't
sounded
have
like
walked
wood.
Yeah,
They wouldn't have walked across there.
that's odd.
That will be the original floor, I would assume, the stone.
they're outside.
Okay.
Ask John.
Go and ask John. Because that would be interesting, wouldn't it? Because you just saw that woman.
Yeah.
Well, it sounded like footsteps across wood.
Yeah, it did. It definitely sounded like wood, not stone. And there's only a very small part there, so by the time we got here, we would have seen something.
I mean, there's the bit of wood, and there's the rest. And it's all stone on the floor. And we heard footsteps as if somebody was walking across a wooden floor.
God, there's so much death in this.
Is there?
There's a feeling of, because there's the sentencing to death, there's the actual deaths. You know, it's kind of like the equivalent of death row, you know, it seems, it's
Really?
almost like that.
Well,
No one has walked out. They actually heard the footsteps as well downstairs, and they thought it was us walking around. The rest of the crew are all in there. Everyone is accounted for. No one has walked past that courtyard.
That's interesting. Cause
oh,
they're
that's
very
really weird. We'll have to listen back to that,
very
won't we?
definite, yeah. And it was definitely, like you guys said, it was like they're walking across a wooden floor, and the wooden floor is tiny. I don't know where that goes to. I shouldn't have gone through that door.
Who's that?
I don't know where that goes to. I shouldn't have gone through that door.
Who's that? Coming up in part 2, sickness in the cells, and something goes bump in the library.
How was that? That's someone up there.
Well, it was certainly very interesting tonight. Very interesting indeed. Things got off to a very slow start, the night vision. Myself, Kath, John, Tom and David went into the cells to begin with, and we all felt very, very sick.
I've been with the vets, and Kath and David, and we've been to different places. We in the police. I must admit, in the police cells, in the cells here, which are tiny. They're very claustrophobic anyway. But all four of us felt pretty sick and felt pretty ill and nauseous.
I had a very bad taste in my mouth, as did, I think it was Tom and David. Kath was feeling very, very unwell.
I felt really, really sick, had bad headaches, and a funny taste in the mouth.
Didn't like it at all, and we all just couldn't wait to get out, really.
We stayed there for half an hour, which was enough, and then we came out.
There's like a madness in here. Like I said, you're clawing at the walls. People would have gone like that, I guess, and that's the energy you're picking up on. That's why you're feeling it. They would
would be very weird, wouldn't it, if you were in here on your own? The solitary confinement feeling would be horrible, wouldn't it?
I actually start getting a bit.
Airless.
Yeah.
I have to say this as well. There's someone, I don't know who it is, but they're saying to me, imagine what this felt like when people were being sick, when they were urinating. You know, one thing that really saddens me is there are innocents. You know, there are innocents who were hung, locked up, families torn apart. It's really quite distressing.
God, I've got this horrible taste in my mouth. It's like metal.
It's like blood. Because blood can have that metallic taste. It's what I felt when we first
In the back of my throat, it's like.
I think the impression I'm getting is that it's for the screamers, it's for the shouters, hung up.
Oh, really?
Put into the mouth to shut them up. That was the impression I got.
I'm definitely getting something in the back of my throat.
Back of my throat is really dry.
You don't feel very well?
No. How you feel?
I feel like I'm going to be sick. It's horrible in here.
Do you want to sit down?
Yeah, to be honest, I feel a bit sick.
Do you know, I felt a bit really dizzy.
Do you?
Felt really wobbly.
This is definitely.
Knowing the history and knowing what had happened in these cells, and knowing that people were, you know, in a lot of pain and anguish and whatever, waiting to trying to deal with their crime and stuff, you could say that knowing that it would you know, make you feel squeamish, and also the fact that they are so small and so confined and claustrophobic, those two factors would maybe make you feel nauseous. But nonetheless, I haven't felt like that. I've never really felt sick on any of these vigils. I've never really you know, lots of things happen, but I never really feel ill. I might feel a bit. You feel cold, or you might have a headache, but I felt ill, and it came from my stomach.
Well, I've just done a vigil in the library area of the location with Derek, Wendy, Rachel, and myself.
It was actually quite creepy, and it was my first vigil actually in the dark. We heard really, really strange noises.
What appears to be heavy clip-clop footstep noises were heard coming from directly above us in the roof space of the library.
What the hell was that? That's someone up there. Hello? Hello?
No, I think that's somebody in the attic.
Yeah.
Making sure.
Up there. Up there. Is the stairs there?
Yeah, and the floorboard.
There's the stairs.
What the fuck is that?
It's coming from up there. The weirdest thing about it was even though the banging was coming from above and sounded like it was coming from above, the floor was shaking as if somebody was walking across it or banging on the floor.
Everyone else thought they were footsteps. I actually thought it sounded like something being banged on the floor above us,
like a walking stick. The interesting thing was the banging actually happened after Derek was saying, oh, well, the poltergeist, if you are there and you're meant to be doing these things, you're disappointing me, you're not making any noise or anything. So it was actually really interesting that it happened straight after that.
Of course, we did the usual thing. We checked for anybody around the area, and there was nobody there.
We knew the cells were beneath us, but when we spoke to Carl and Stu, they both said that they didn't hear any banging, and it was very, very loud.
Sorry?
Are you making any noises? Like what? Banging noises?
Banging. No, I've literally just, all I've done is put Stuart in here. I've just shut the door,
Right.
and I've bolted it, and I've just shut this, which is...
Okay.
Stuart, do you mind if I just go through that process again?
Yeah,
We just had an amazing amount of bangings above us, going across the ceiling, and I mean, just an enormous amount.
Did you?
Yes, I'm very strong.
We've been sitting in there.
Yeah,
I went for a wee.
yeah.
Came back in. I've just closed the door here. If you go back in, Stu. I've done this.
That's not what we heard.
I've shut it like that,
An almighty bang.
and I've just closed it.
Okay.
Right. That's not you.
It's
So
been was above,
we'll
yeah.
go back upstairs.
Okay.
It was quite exciting as well. I wasn't actually that scared. I think because obviously Derek and Phil and Wendy were there as well. If I was on my own, or maybe with just one other person, I don't think I'd have liked it so much. I probably cried.
As soon as we'd finished the vigil, I went to see Norman, who basically knows this place like the back of his hand, inside out, on all the nooks and crannies, to ask if there was any possible access to the roof space above the library.
When we checked out what the floor above us was, it's very narrow attic space.
If somebody had tried to access it from the jury room end of the attic, they would have had to walk so far and then crawl on their hands and knees right the way across the Great Hall to the other side of the location where the library is situated. And Norman seems to think that this would have been virtually impossible for any of the crew members to attempt, purely because he believes that they would have fallen straight through the roof.
Nothing's ever happened to me on a vigil before, but I can honestly say that I'm quite pleased that it did.
How was that?
That's someone up there.
Hello? Hello?
No, I think that's somebody in the attic
Yeah.
making sure.
Up there.
Well, we've come to the end of the night. It's been an interesting one.
To be honest, I thought, because this place has so much character and so much history, my initial reaction was that we would experience quite a few things.
We've heard some noises, we've had some strange feelings. It seemed like there was quite a bit of activity earlier in the day. There was a little bit this evening, but not a great deal. It seemed to sort of die a little bit.
A little bit disappointing. But I mean, Guildhall as a tourist attraction is great. Fantastic museum, fantastic surroundings, great location. But nothing really happened.
This is a nice chilled out, relaxed location, and it's very rare we get locations like this. And this, to me, it might be a lot lower, it might be chilled out and laid back, but it's a pleasure to do. It really is.
It's been a great place, fantastic venue. I think there's a lot more to it than we managed to uncover tonight. But we're going sign off now, and see you on the next Most Wanted Extra. Take care.
Well, the Cold Squad dare to open the box next tonight here on Living TV after details of this week's Most Haunted competition next.
And I am a new member of the Most Haunted crew.
Yeah, David Wells, probably.
It's all right for you, Phil, isn't it, Phil? Coming in here, yakking away for about 6 hours. I try and do my bit, and Phil... Right, you just get lost.
On a totem pole. I like the telly, no? That's really scary. That's it.
Leave it there, see if anything else happens.